My father brought back an orphan girl from his Antarctic scientific expedition. He said that she was the real daughter of the Reynard family who had been swapped away for many years. And I was the fake daughter who had occupied her place for years. Since then I had to give everything that Vespera liked to her, ranging from clothes and shoes to my beloved fiancé. Whenever I showed a bit of dissatisfaction, my elder brother would rush over and slap me in the face, saying, "You've occupied her position for so many years. You owe her this, and you should endure it." Out of guilt I was tortured by Vespera in all kinds of ways. I was even abused to death in a dark alley. It was only after my death that I realized that all of this was just an excuse for my father to make his mistress's daughter the legitimate heir. Having a second chance at life, I strode forward and yanked the dress that my grandmother had custom made for me off Vespera's body harshly. "What kind of person are you? How dare you wear my clothes?" Vespera, who had been looking smug and animated just a moment ago, went pale when she saw that she was left only in her underwear. My eldest brother rushed over in a hurry, pushed me away, and took off his suit to cover Vespera's body. "Saren, are you crazy? Do you know what you're doing? No wonder you're not of the Reynard family's blood. You're really vicious. You occupied Vespera's position for so many years and enjoyed the happiness that should have been hers for over 20 years. Now you even want to ruin her reputation in public. We shouldn't have been soft-hearted and continued to take you in back then. Then you wouldn't have had the chance to hurt Vespera." I looked at my bleeding and scraped knees. In the past, if Halcyon had said such words, I would definitely have felt extremely guilty. I surely wouldn't have been able to say anything to refute. At that time, I naively thought that my biological mother had swapped Vespera away, causing her to wander in a foreign land and endure all kinds of hardships. And I had occupied her position as the young lady of the family for years. As long as she wanted something, even if I was very dissatisfied, I would give it up. I thought I owed it to her. It was only after my death that I realized that all of this was just an excuse for my father to make his mistress's daughter the legitimate heir. My soul witnessed how he lied about going on an Antarctic expedition, but in fact, he just went to fool around with his mistress. I watched how he discussed plans with his mistress, framed me as the fake daughter, and replaced Vespera with the real daughter to make his own daughter the legitimate one. And my stupid elder brother was bought off by Vespera with just a few words. He even gave all the affection he had shown me before to her, as if all the kindness he had shown me before was just an act. Hearing Halcyon's words, I couldn't help but laugh scornfully. I occupied her position? I don't need to haggle with a mistress's child. She's just something not presentable. Besides, this dress was custom made for me by my grandmother. Is it yours? How dare you wear it? As soon as I finished speaking, a hint of panic flashed in Vespera's eyes. Everyone was shocked by my words. As we all know, a mistress is the most hated person among noble ladies. However, the world of the wealthy is complex, and anything is possible. Perhaps she really might be an illegitimate child. Some noble ladies from good families immediately looked at Vespera with strange eyes. Vespera immediately reddened her eyes and looked at me aggrievedly. "Sister, I know you're unhappy that father is holding a birthday banquet for me today. But we've done a paternity test with father and it can't be fake. Since sister is angry about not being able to wear this dress today, just tell me and I'll change out of it and give it to you later." Before I could say anything, Halcyon frowned in dissatisfaction. "This is the dress that grandmother specially designed for you. How can we let her have it so easily? She's just a wild girl. How can she deserve the clothes made by grandmother herself? Grandmother said it was specially designed for her granddaughter. She's not my mother's child. She's the last person who deserves to wear this dress." Vespera pretended to be aggrieved and understanding, explaining patiently, "It's just a dress. If sister likes it, just give it to her. She's been spoiled for so many years. It's understandable that she's a bit dissatisfied now that she suddenly has an older sister." Then she cried aggrievedly and said disapprovingly, "Sister, you can say whatever you want about me, but you can't slander mother as a mistress like this. Mother would be sad even in the underworld." Vespera had the appearance of a first love. At this moment, with tears glistening in her eyes, even facing my so-called vicious behavior, she still spoke well of me. Such a kind and pitiful girl immediately made everyone dissatisfied with me. You're a fake daughter who has occupied someone else's place for years. How dare you have the nerve to say that Vespera doesn't deserve it? That's her grandmother, not yours. Don't you really think you're the real young lady of the Reynard family after staying in the Reynard family for so long? A fake is always a fake. You're so petty. Look at how generous and graceful the real daughter is. You've enjoyed her happy life for over 20 years. Vespera didn't blame you and still calls you sister. It's okay if you don't know how to be grateful. Now you not only ripped the clothes off the real daughter of the Reynard family but also called her the daughter of a mistress. If Lady were still alive she would surely be so angry that she'd crawl out of her grave. You're a fake daughter yet you still pretend to be noble. In fact you're not even worth a strand of the real daughter's hair. A fake is always a fake and can never become real. Do you really think others are fools? The Reynard family wouldn't be unable to recognize their own biological daughter. I think her own mother is the mistress. She gave birth to her out of wedlock, swapped children and passed on her bad genes. She's a downright ungrateful wretch. One harsh word after another, so harsh and unpleasant to the ear. Seeing that everyone was on her side, Vespera showed a gentle yet provocative smile. Halcyon frowned in dissatisfaction, rolled his eyes at me, and then gently comforted Vespera. Go and tidy up your clothes first. I'll deal with this bastard. Then he shouted loudly, Mom Myrtle, take off her clothes for me. Since she's so eager to wear Vespera's dress, if you take it off her now I'll let her wear it. Those words were really merciless. Mom Myrtle walked forward smugly and looked at me. Miss Saren, excuse me. You don't deserve to even think about wearing the dress that the young lady's own grandmother specially custom made for her. You can't afford the consequences of offending Miss Vespera. Looking at the mean Mom Myrtle in front of me, I knew her well. She was actually the mother of Vespera's mistress mother, that is, her grandmother. After Vespera came back, her mistress mother didn't trust Vespera and specially asked her own mother to apply for the job as a nanny. She used to like stealing things and was caught by me once. I said a few words to her. In my previous life, following Vespera's lead, she had tormented me a lot and framed me many times. She had held a grudge against me until now and couldn't wait to see me driven out. She grabbed my hand tightly, and it hurt terribly. I thought the area on my arm must be bruised. I pushed her hand away forcefully. What kind of thing are you? A thief and the daughter of a mistress are in cahoots. What right do you have to take off my clothes? As I said that, I slapped her across the face. This made everyone gasp in surprise. I had wanted to hit her for a long time. A mother who raised a mistress, shameless and even helping the evildoer. Thinking of my mother's car accident, I couldn't believe that it had nothing to do with the three of them. Mom Myrtle covered her face with a look of grievance on it. Vespera, who had changed her clothes, immediately looked displeased. She walked forward and stood in front of Mom Myrtle, saying, Sister, you've gone too far. Mom Myrtle is an old member of the family. She's practically brought you up since you were a child. Even if she's just a nanny, we should still respect her. I rolled my eyes disdainfully and said, I'm not sure if she's an old member or not, but I do know that she's your grandmother. Vespera was left speechless by my words. Mom Myrtle immediately waved her hands in a flustered manner, saying, Don't talk nonsense. Vespera's eyes reddened, looking as if she had been hurt and was forced to compromise. Since saying this can make sister less angry, then I'll just be Mom Myrtle's granddaughter. I really underestimated how shameless Vespera could be. A young master nearby saw his goddess in tears and immediately became dissatisfied and wanted to defend her. Saren, you're really shameless. To put it nicely, you're the adopted daughter of the Reynard family. To put it bluntly, you're just a bastard with no parents. The Reynard family has provided you with food and clothing, yet you really think you're a young lady of a noble family. You're so shameless. The lackeys behind him immediately echoed, That's right. You dare to snatch things without even considering the occasion. You're really an ill-mannered bastard. Master Halcyon, in my opinion you should just have her beaten and thrown out. Seeing this, Halcyon immediately walked forward and grabbed my hand with such force that it seemed he was going to break my wrist. Saren, don't go too far. Mom Myrtle is an old member of the family. I don't expect you to respect her, but you shouldn't lay your hands on her. We've endured you for long enough. Where are the security guards? Hurry up and throw this crazy woman who's causing trouble out for me. I pushed away the security guards who were coming to grab me and said, I'd like to see who dares. I dare. You bastard. You dare to bully your sister in public at a banquet. God knows how lawless you are behind the scenes. Finally, my dear father couldn't sit still any longer and walked down the stairs angrily. He slapped me across the face with such force that it seemed he wanted to kill me with just one slap. Seeing the man who had truly caused my tragic death in my previous life again, I just felt a chill in my heart. I had always respected my father. But he had never seen my good side. In my previous life, he was just like this. No matter how excellent I was, all I got in return was, there's something wrong with your personality. You're too competitive. You're a girl, so you should assist your brother more. The company will belong to your brother in the future. You should be virtuous and gentle so that it'll be easier for you to marry into a good family of equal social status in the future. I had always thought that it was because I wasn't good enough that my father looked down on me. It wasn't until Vespera entered the family that I realized that it wasn't that he didn't have paternal love, but that I just wasn't the child he wanted to dote on. Reynard looked at the carefully arranged banquet that was now in a mess. Everyone had a mocking look on their faces. He couldn't hold back his anger any longer and said, I think I spoiled you too much in the past. Which made you dare to make a scene without considering the occasion. Vespera walked forward with red eyes, looking aggrieved. Dad, it's all my fault. Sister is probably unhappy that I wore the dress designed by Grandma. Don't be angry. Don't ruin your health. I'll change the dress and give it to Sister right away. The gentler and more considerate Vespera was, the more pitiful she seemed to be when bullied. This made everyone indignant. Saren is really going too far. General Manager Reynard should drive Saren out of the Reynard family. This kind of ungrateful wretch can't be tamed. Reynard touched Vespera's head affectionately. Silly girl, you're the real young lady of the Reynard family. This dress belongs to you. No one can take away what belongs to you. I stared fixedly at Reynard and said, do you dare to look me in the eye and say that I'm really not your biological daughter? Do you dare to have a paternity test with me? Perhaps my eyes were too sharp, as Reynard averted his gaze and looked into the distance. The young master who was following Vespera immediately sneered, how could someone like you be Uncle Reynard's daughter? Don't disgust Uncle Reynard. Reynard pretended not to hear others' insults towards me and looked at Vespera gently. He took out a purple bracelet. The color and purity of it showed how extraordinary the bracelet was. This is your mother's heirloom. It's passed down only to daughters, not sons. It's just right for you to wear it on your birthday today. Thank you, Dad. Vespera answered obediently and gave me a smug look. Looking at this familiar bracelet, it was my mother's favorite bracelet. The thought of giving it to the mistress's daughter made my heart clench instantly. Looking at the hypocritical and heartless man in front of me, how dare he? I wanted to step forward and take the bracelet back. However, unexpectedly, Halcyon seized the opportunity and immediately kicked me to the ground. The intense pain made it impossible for me to stand up. Vespera pretended to be worried and ran over. Are you okay, sister? As she approached to help me up, I heard her vicious words in my ear, you're just as useless as your dead mother. Not only this bracelet, but I'll also take over the lady family's property. I gritted my teeth and looked at Vespera. How dare you? Just watch me dare or not. Then she fell to the ground pitifully. Sister, don't be angry. I'll give you the bracelet. When Reynard saw his precious daughter fall, he immediately got angry. Saren, you're really something. It seems I have to teach you a lesson so that you know how powerful I am. Throw her out. The Reynard family doesn't have a daughter like her. Let's see who you're going to throw out? A loud and authoritative voice rang out from the entrance. Hearing my uncle's voice, my eyes immediately reddened. It was the kind of aggrieved emotion that came from knowing that someone had come to support me. I couldn't help but sob uncontrollably. Grandmother, uncle, and cousin were followed by some bodyguards, appearing at the entrance of the hall with an imposing presence that couldn't be ignored. Looking at their familiar faces, I was choked up and couldn't say a word. In my previous life, after being publicly pointed out as the fake daughter, I didn't have the face to go to my grandmother's family. Moreover, after my mother died in a car accident in my previous life, the Lady family and the Reynard family didn't get along well. The Lady family and the Reynard family were not in the same city. Reynard only allowed me to go to my grandmother's house during holidays. Later, Reynard used the excuse of my being rebellious and said that he would send me abroad for training. As time passed, our contact became less and less. In fact, after that, I was beaten by Vespera and Halcyon until my legs were broken, sent into a dark alley, and tortured to death. After my uncle's family found out, they attacked the Reynard family at all costs. However, that bastard Halcyon took advantage of my uncle's family's love for me, moved into the Lady family, and framed them with charges like murder and illegal business operations. This time, I must make the 3 members of the Reynard family pay the price for their selfish desires. Thinking that my grandmother was the family member who truly loved me, I wanted to hug her with tears in my eyes. Before I could react, Vespera took the lead and ran over to hug my grandmother. "Grandma, Vespera misses you so much. Thank you, Grandma, for the dress you prepared for me. I really like it. It's just that the dress was ruined by Sister Saren." The guests immediately became excited. The Lady family is the richest one. If the Reynard family hadn't married the daughter of the Lady family back then, they wouldn't have their current status. In order to cooperate with the Lady family, the guests at the banquet couldn't wait to take credit for themselves. "Old Mrs. Aurelia Vespera is your real granddaughter. Saren is just a child who was swapped by mistake." Someone watched the drama unfold and said, "Now Saren is in trouble." People in the Lady family are very protective of their own. If they know that their real granddaughter has been bullied, they surely won't let Saren off. Let her show off. Miss Vespera didn't care about it just now, but she still had to make a fuss there. Well, now she's got what she deserved. One reaps what one sows. In the eyes of everyone who was watching the excitement, Grandmother pulled her arm out of Vespera's embrace with a serious expression. "Don't recognize people randomly, child. I don't have 2 granddaughters." Then she gently and kindly beckoned to me, "Saren, come here quickly and let Grandma have a look at you. It doesn't matter if the dress is ruined. Grandma will make you another one." Vespera's face immediately turned blotchy, like a chameleon. She blushed with embarrassment and looked pitifully at Halcyon. Seeing that the sister he loved was being ignored, Halcyon was immediately dissatisfied. He walked forward and looked at Grandmother. "Grandmother, Vespera is my real sister. Back then Saren's mother swapped Vespera away. Fortunately Father found Vespera when he went on an expedition. Vespera suffered outside for more than 20 years. We should make it up to her well and not let her be disheartened with us. Saren, this bad seed, just stripped Vespera's clothes in public. She's really evil-minded." Halcyon thought he was standing on the moral high ground. He sincerely said these words, thinking that he would get the support of Grandmother's family. Unexpectedly, Grandmother, uncle, and cousin ignored Halcyon's words and took my hand. "You've lost weight. Did they not take good care of you?" Grandmother's hand gently stroked my cheek, and she found the red and swollen palm print on my face. Seeing this, Uncle immediately flew into a rage and slapped the table. "Who hit my niece? I think he doesn't want his hand anymore." Reynard walked forward with an apologetic smile. "It wasn't the time to fall out with the Lady family yet, brother-in-law, you've misunderstood. Saren isn't the child born by Shuyuan. When we went on an expedition back then, Shuyuan's child was swapped after she gave birth. You know that I have deep affection for Shuyuan. Knowing that our child was wandering outside, I really couldn't bear it. Although you like Saren, we can't let Vespera be sad either. Saren has a bad temper, is beyond redemption, and is vicious. She just bullied her sister without considering the occasion. I was just going to teach her a lesson to make her remember it." Uncle sneered. "What a deep affection and solemn vows." Reynard's face darkened when he was mocked. "I know you may not believe it and think this matter is strange. I also thought it was strange at that time, so I had someone do a paternity test between me and Vespera. Look, it's clearly written in black and white on the paternity test report. It can't be fake. As he said this, Reynard took out an appraisal certificate with the letterhead of the First People's Hospital in Jinghai. Those who were close also saw the content clearly. It indeed showed that Vespera had a 99.9% blood relationship with Reynard. However, seeing that grandmother and uncle didn't speak for a long time, everyone began to guess and whisper among themselves. Oh, isn't old Mrs. Aurelia confused? She doesn't want her real granddaughter but insists on keeping a wild bastard. The Lady family has such a big business. Be careful not to be cheated. If Miss Lady were still alive, she would surely be sad that her relatives don't recognize their own daughter. What nonsense are you talking about? The Lady family must have some means to have the current business. That bastard Saren won't be able to cheat a penny away. I looked at grandmother, uncle, and cousin anxiously, afraid that they would believe Reynard's words. I looked at Reynard. Since I had died once, I would never long for the family affection that didn't belong to me again. You said you did a paternity test with Vespera. Who knows if Vespera is your child born with someone else outside? In that case you would also be in a father-daughter relationship. Isn't there no evidence at all? As soon as these words came out, everyone thought it made sense. Yes, if General Manager Reynard has an illegitimate daughter behind the scenes, then the credibility of this paternity test isn't that high. Some also refuted, don't you know how chaste General Manager Reynard is? He hasn't remarried for many years since his wife passed away. Moreover, Miss Lady worked day and night to accompany him in starting his business back then. She spent so much money and resources for General Manager Reynard. If he betrays Miss Lady, General Manager Reynard would really be a scoundrel. Reynard frowned disdainfully. Shiyuan only gave birth to one daughter back then. Since it's confirmed that Vespera is my daughter, of course you're not. Saren, you're really stubborn. I shouldn't have been kind-hearted enough to continue to take you in back then and foster your ambition. You bullied your sister without any sisterly affection. Do you want to make me angry to death now? Vespera quickly stepped forward. Dad, don't be angry. It's not worth it to ruin your health because of anger. Then she looked at grandmother and uncle with a pitiful look. I know that grandmother and uncle have spent a long time with Sister Saren and it's inevitable that you have feelings for her. But I was beaten and scolded when I was young and I didn't have enough to eat or wear warm clothes. I also want to accompany you like Sister Saren, but... Vespera was in tears, as if she had been hurt by grandmother's words. She was just a child longing for family affection. A guest couldn't bear to see it and said, Vespera is such a well-behaved and sensible child. She just longs for a little family affection. What's wrong with her? She was so young back then and suffered so much torture, beating and scolding. It's not that she didn't want to stay by your side for a long time. It's all because of Saren's black-hearted mother who swapped away the happy life that should have belonged to her as a young lady. Uncle snorted and turned his head away. Since that's the case, anyway, the paternity test results can come out quickly now, so it won't hurt to do it again. Reynard immediately agreed. Doing it again is okay, but you have to give the land in the west of the city to Vespera as compensation. I stopped Uncle. Reynard was really shameless. The land in the west of the city was obtained by the Lady family with great effort. If it was given to them, the company would surely have problems with its capital turnover. Uncle comfortingly patted my hand to reassure me. Okay, but I want Vespera to be matched with my mother. Reynard was immediately at a loss for words. What? Since Shuyuan is no longer here and we can't do the test directly, but at least half of the genetic material of the granddaughter comes from her grandmother. It can also be verified through testing. Halcyon looked at Reynard. Dad, hurry up and agree. Slap them in the face. How dare they suspect that Vespera isn't mother's child? Then Reynard clapped his hands and forced a smile. Brother-in-law, you take a child's words seriously. Do you want people to laugh at us? Uncle didn't give Reynard any face anymore. Anyway, the joke has already been made today. We might as well make it clear. Then Uncle clapped his hands. Two doctors walked in from outside, dressed professionally. They were about to take Vespera's blood sample. Reynard immediately felt that his face was being challenged. He angrily pushed away the doctor's hand and said, "Get lost. I showed you respect, brother-in-law, because you're Shiyuan's brother. But you've gone too far. This is our family matter. How I deal with this disobedient daughter Saren is my own business." Then he gave the order to see the guests off. "Today's banquet is over. Everyone, please go back. I won't see you out. Saren, come here right now." I exchanged a glance with Uncle. Then, on the big screen behind us, a video of Reynard having an affair with a woman appeared. The guests who had just been walking out stopped in their tracks instantly. It was a high-definition, three-dimensional, and rather explicit video. Those who had been unhappy with Reynard finally found a chance to mock him. "I didn't expect General Manager Reynard to be such a playboy. So he's just a useless thing, good for nothing but looking nice. Look quickly. Vespera looks so much like that mistress. Don't you think they're stupid? If they wanted to replace someone, they should at least check if the mistress's daughter looks like Miss Lady." Reynard's face turned livid. "Someone, turn it off quickly. I'll sue you for violating my privacy." Some wealthy wives immediately looked at Vespera with disdain. She was pretending to be so generous and graceful just now. Turns out she's just the daughter of a low-class mistress. What bad luck. She's as vicious as her mother, always plotting against others. Then, some mothers warned their sons, "You're not allowed to get close to Vespera in the future. Who knows if she has any dirty diseases? Don't let her infect you." When had Vespera ever been humiliated like this? She was so angry that she rushed towards me, flailing her arms. "I'll kill you, Saren." Before she could get close, she was pinned down by the bodyguards brought by grandmother. Her face was distorted, and there was no trace of the gentle and lovely look she had before. Mom Myrtle was so worried that she immediately rushed forward and grabbed Reynard. "Son-in-law, think of something quickly. Vespera is the daughter we've loved since she was a child." Halcyon looked at me in disbelief. "Are you really my biological sister?" Then he collapsed and grabbed Reynard's shoulders. "Dad, did you lie to me? Is Vespera my sister?" Seeing the silent Reynard, even Halcyon, stupid as he was, understood what was going on. He knelt in front of me, crying bitterly. "Saren, it's brother's fault. Brother misunderstood you. As long as you're not angry anymore, you can hit me however you like. Kick me. It won't hurt." I looked away. In my previous life, I had also pitifully begged them not to torture me anymore. And what did he do? He just watched coldly. Cousin walked forward and kicked him away. "Get lost. Saren is my sister. Someone like you doesn't deserve to call her sister." Then he gently looked at me and said, "Sister Saren, are you tired? Otherwise, you can go back with Grandma first. I'll handle things here." I raised my hand to decline because I wanted to see Reynard's final fate. Reynard, having nothing to lose, smiled indifferently in the face of this scandal in the wealthy family. So what if I cheated? Which rich man nowadays doesn't keep a mistress outside? Then he looked at the men present mockingly. "Dare you say you don't?" The male guests present, facing the sharp questioning eyes of their wives, felt guilty and vented their anger. "Reynard, you have a chaotic private life, yet you still wanted to frame the real daughter and make the mistress's daughter the legitimate heir. We're not as vicious and shameless as you. At least we know who our legitimate wives and biological children are. Don't end up with all your schemes in vain. Maybe Vespera isn't your daughter after all." Seeing the unrepentant Reynard, Uncle was so angry. "Shiyuan, look at the man you insisted on marrying back then. You sacrificed so much for him, yet this is how he treats the daughter you left behind." Reynard curled his lips mockingly. "Sacrifice? I wanted to be nice to her back then too, but she was too domineering. And you all always looked down on me. Why do you look down on me? In what way am I inferior to others? Saren is my daughter. I can deal with her however I want. It's none of your business. What can you do to me? At most I'll just be surrounded by scandals." I thought he wouldn't admit his mistake until it was too late. "Don't rush. Your retribution is coming soon. Aren't you always looking down on Halcyon?" You thought that mistress you kept outside for years gave birth to a son for you. You wanted to ruin all the children related to my mother's bloodline. You succeeded with my brother, but no matter how you tried to suppress me, I didn't turn bad. In the end, you came up with the idea of the substitution of the cat for the prince. You've been plotting against others all your life. What a pity. That little son of yours isn't actually your child. Reynard looked up in disbelief. What are you talking about? How could he not be my son? I saw him being born with my own eyes. As I said that, I took out the paternity test report that I had asked someone to do long ago. You're old, but your mistress is still young. You wanted a son, but unfortunately, you couldn't have one. So your little lover found someone else to father the child. Reynard was devastated. All his plotting had been in vain. I don't believe it. You must be deliberately trying to anger me. Believe it or not, you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. Then several policemen in uniforms appeared at the door. Mr. Reynard, you're suspected of murder, illegal business operations, involvement in organized crime, and several other crimes. We're here to summon you now. Reynard struggled in disbelief. It's impossible. It's impossible. Police, I'm innocent. They framed me for everything. It wasn't until the mistress he had always cared about was brought over that he understood everything. His eyes were bloodshot. You bitch. How dare you betray me? I've been providing you with jewels, luxury brands, and all kinds of luxuries all these years. Looking at the handcuffs on his hands and my determined eyes, he finally lowered his proud yet extremely inferior head. The winner takes all and one has to be ruthless. That's what he taught me. Everything was settled. I transferred my household registration to uncle's name. I changed my surname to my mother's surname and became Saren, hoping to live a peaceful life. I never wanted to have anything to do with the Reynard family again. Saren, Halcyon is here again. Since he learned the truth, he had been kneeling at the door every day, begging for my forgiveness. I ignored him and he just kept standing there. Actually, my feelings for him were complicated. In my previous life, he was the one who caused my death, but he was also my brother with the same blood. In this life, I didn't want to take revenge on him or forgive him. I just let him live the rest of his life as he liked. In less than 3 months, he came less and less often. It turned out that since I left the Reynard family situation had been getting worse day by day. Halcyon couldn't manage the company well. After that scandal, the Reynard family was caught in a scandal storm. Due to poor public relations, the stock price had been dropping continuously. Vespra and her mistress refused to leave the Reynard family and they were used to spending extravagantly. The expenses were much greater than the income. Until the family declared bankruptcy. Seeing the mistress and Vespra constantly selling off assets and trying to run away, Halcyon was finally enraged. During the argument, the 3 of them got into a car accident. Vespra and the mistress died on the spot. Halcyon became a vegetable and would lie in the hospital for the rest of his life. And I had already taken my mother's dream and gone to Berkeley to pursue our music dream. The end.